Say in the book of Zechariah, it's definitely longer than the previous two books. So let's get started. We have a lot to go over in the book of Zechariah, chapter 1. A call to return to the Lord. In the 8th month of the 2nd year of Darius, the word of the Lord came to the prophet Zechariah, son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo. The Lord was very angry with your forefathers. Therefore, tell the people, this is what the Lord Almighty says. Return to me, declares the Lord Almighty, and I will return to you, says the Lord Almighty. Do not be like your forefathers, to whom the earlier prophets proclaimed, this is what the Lord Almighty says. Turn from your evil ways and your evil practices. But they would not listen or pay attention to me, declares the Lord. Where are your forefathers now? And the prophets, do they live forever? But did not my words and my decrees, which I commanded my servants the prophets, overtake your forefathers? Then they repented and said, the Lord Almighty has done to us what our ways and practices deserve, just as he determined to do. And so here is the prophet Zechariah, and he is telling the people exactly what's going on and the reason why, as well as warning them. Don't be like the forefathers. Don't be like the people who ended up being exiled because they refused to turn from their wicked ways. They refused to turn to the Lord. And so here's Zechariah telling the people this is during the exile, nearing the end of the exile, and the people were allowed to return and start rebuilding. So just like Ezra and Nehemiah, this is around that time frame that the people were able to start returning and rebuilding. But he's telling them, look, you're going there because the Lord said that he would guide you and bring you back to the land, the Holy Land, so you can rebuild the temple. But also remember the reason why you're here in this exile to begin with. It's because the people refuse to admit their guilt. They refuse to admit their sin. Bringing past to present. There's a lot to take here, just from this very first part here. One thing is yes, definitely being able to let go of past, particularly past mistakes, so that we can move forward, so that we can grow, we can learn from them, and we can grow and do better, right? We don't want to repeat. We don't want to go back to what we were told or how we thought things were, because we already know what the result is going to be. That led to the devastation or the destruction or the not meeting your goals. So you already know, and you can see that, and you can help others too when it comes to that. You also don't want to repeat something that is that has brought you to that place to begin with, that place of loss, that place of not being able to be successful. The Lord only wants good. So listen to what he has for you. Listen to what he says. And it can be very difficult because we tend to get into our emotions. We tend to get into our emotions, which are just fine, because we are humans. But we start bringing in our own thoughts and feelings into it, our own justifications. Leave those out. Do away with those and lean into what the Lord has to say for our lives. Before we go on, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel and what does it make you think?